मरुदम मिट जाएगा बोलो सुबह शाम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, I can hold my own hand. Yes, I can love me better than you can. Namaskaram, Sat Sri Akal, Salam Alaikum. Welcome to Barkha Dutt on Inside Out, the only place you can get her, that's for sure. Inside Out with me, Usha. I'm Usha Uthup. I'm your Didi. Namaskaram, Sat Sri Akal, Salam Alaikum. Welcome to Barkha Dutt on Inside Out, the only place you can get her, that's for sure. Inside Out with me, Usha. I'm Usha Uthup. I'm your Didi.
This is why you're so special. You're amazing. I love you.
I love you too. I can't tell you how excited I am to be with you one more time. And you know that I'm not just saying it as part of a dialogue.
And I'm not just saying it either. You're amazing.
You can see it from my eyes and the way I talk, that it's really beautiful to be back with you again one more time, Barkha, because you're one of the best. So,
thank you, but you are the best.
No, for me, I think it's been years that I've been following you when you had that little crew cut kind of hairstyle. And you know, I always thought you were so erudite and so, what shall I say, always thinking of the truth and how the truth has to come out. And that made me...
You're going to make me cry now.
Yeah. Cry, because I think it's a good thing. Bhalo kore अच्छे से रोना, because I think because I say, you know, we all have our ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think if people think that, I mean, we don't have any problems. But then if you've noticed, I never talk about it.
Yeah.
When people say, what are your struggles in life and things like that.
That's extraordinary about you, right? If you think of Usha Uthup, you always think of a happy Usha Uthup.
Yeah.
You couldn't be always happy. You're not superhuman.
No, of course not. I have lots and lots of problems. But my point is always that if people want to really look for trouble and look for sadness, they find it at every half a step. You can look around and see so much of sadness within your home, within your family, within so many things. But then if you make an effort to make that something happy, you know, look for something happy, it's so beautiful. And I can find happiness and peace in a lot of things, which one line that has been, you know, part of my guiding for a long time is, "Ye mat kaho khuda se, meri mushkilein badi hain. Ye mushkilon se keh do, Mera khuda bada hai."
Nice.
And if you really believe in a superpower that's ruling everything that we're doing, then it's about time that we tell all our problems that he's much bigger than all of you put together, all the problems put together. And I think that's how, in fact, when somebody asked me, Adi Pocha, my nephew, he asked me, how would you like to be remembered, Bukamasi? And I said, what? He said, after you die. I said, nobody's ever told me that before. So I don't want to die now, that's for sure. But then looking at it, I think I'd love to be remembered as somebody who brought a smile on everybody's face.
I mean, between your music and your saris, you have it covered.
Yes. Wow.
The effervescence.
Yeah.
The entire gamut of effervescence. Yeah, pun intended, have it covered. No, but honestly, there's so much to talk to you about, but I have to start with the saris.
Okay.
I have to.
All right, do that.
Just because, as you once said, when you started being a performer in nightclubs, a singer in nightclubs, and you've always interestingly identified as that. You know, you've said, before I was a playback singer, I was essentially somebody who sang in nightclubs. And the girls young girls at that time used to come in slinky black dresses, and you brought out your kanjivarams.
Yes. That really wasn't a strategy, you know.
No, it was just natural.
It was just natural also because I can't say poor, but I can say definitely very, very middle class upbringing, okay? And a family that has, 6 children, and my father was in the police. Where would we have a huge wardrobe or something like that? So one wore just what was given or had. And straight out of school, I wore a shalwar kameez. And within a couple of years, I started wearing a sari. And it was mostly my amma's saris that I wore, my sister's saris that I wore. And I think it just came to me naturally because there was nothing else. And Barkha, I don't know about you, whether I'm sure you must have noticed how kids today, I mean, when I say today, I mean for the past 20 years or so, they are so confident, and so poised, and they're so bothered about how everything is matching or not matching.
The Instagram generation. And we grew up before that.
Yeah. You too?
What do you think?
But I think that, we were so happy with the few things that we had.
And we were okay with things being a little out of order.
I know.
We didn't have to be perfectly manicured.
Absolutely.
Right.
Manicure. I never knew what was manicure.
I mean, put together.
No, in those days, I didn't even know what was manicure because I was always biting my nails. Same. Yeah, me too. So I paint this one and keep this for biting. So one hand is for biting. The one that holds the mic is the one that looks good on the... These are my secrets anyway. So I think the sari just became so part of me, really. And
did you always know how to drape one and wear one like naturally?
A lovely question you asked me. The first time I wore a sari at home, I mean in Baikala, that was where I lived. It was a check green sari, okay? Green and black checks. And I had, unfortunately, just a white blouse. That's so South Indian, You go to Madras and you'll see all the ladies near the temples and, all with their terrific Kanjivaram sari. They're always wearing Kanjivaram because also Kanjivaram keeps you warm in the winter. I mean, when it's cold. And, cold or nice,
cool,
pleasant
comfortable,
in the heat. And it's really got that amazing. So when people say, how can you wear a Kanjivaram sari now when they ask me when it's so hot? Or, I'm used to it actually. But this green sari, I'll never forget how it took me so much time to drape because I did so want to, I think somewhere emulate the way my mother wore it, okay? And first I put the sari, I took the pleats like so. And I kept on putting more and more and more, because it was very slim, okay? I put so many pleats, and I hope you're the camera that's taking me. Yeah, okay. Yes. So I took the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. And then when it became 7, I thought, now let me check if the aanchal is okay. I mean, if the pallu is okay. And there was so little of that. So I took it all out and did 1 and 2 and 3. And still it wasn't okay. Then I realized I had to make the pleats much smaller. And, it took me maybe at that time about 10 minutes to do. Today I can dress in 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
That has to be a world record of some kind.
Yeah, I'm a very quick dresser. And I think by now I know that it's got to be 5 pleats.
I watched this incredible cred video of you and your saris. It was beautiful. Every sari had a story. How many saris do you have?
Actually, I don't have so many that people think I have thousands and things like that. I really don't. I think because of that, I happen to count how many I have. And it's about 500. So even that is, I feel ashamed of the fact that I own so much, really.
It's a lifetime of saris.
I know. It's a lifetime
of work, actually.
And most of them, by the way, have been presented to me after my shamelessly saying that I like to have this color or I like to have that color, and they present it to me. But yes, for work, I do buy saris, but today the prices are so prohibitive, really. I mean, you can't even think of buying a sari for less than 20 to 30. And I know that my first sari, which was presented to me, was 126 rupees. Kanjivaram sari in 1969. So you can imagine, you can't even get a piece of rag now.
Yeah. Since we're talking about money, when you did your first professional performance, how much were you paid?
My first professional performance was, I told you, a sari, Kanjivaram sari in Madras.
Yes.
But my next contract, I got 750 rupees. And not for one show, it was for the whole month.
750 rupees for the month?
For the month. Of singing from, standing on the stage next to the piano. I'm the original band wali, by the way. And today everybody talks about band and, what kind of band they have. And it's so cool and, and the swag.
And the band was called The Fugitives?
No, one of the bands.
One of the bands was called The Fugitives. I think I've seen that picture. It's incredible.
But in Hotel Savera, there was a person called Godfrey Saldana. Gosh, I can't believe I remember his name. I think I remember his name because, he's no more, but he taught me how to... differentiate between, because I never learned a note of music. And he helped me to, figure out what the different kind of beats were when we're doing a Western.
You're entirely self-taught, right?
Absolutely. Completely.
Like you never went to music school?
No, nothing.
You never took a course?
No.
Nothing?
Never.
But you can read notes? You can
no,
read music?
I wish. That's the only, actually I don't have regrets that I never learned. But only one regret is I wish I had learned sight reading. Because sight reading would have definitely helped me pick up a song much faster. Now my process is like this. Supposing you wanted me to sing a song, say day after tomorrow you want me to record it, I will ask you to give me the song on, send it now by mail or whatever. Yeah. And I will stick my headphones on my head and really be able to digest the song fully, get my teeth into it, and only then can I sing it. It's not like other singers who can, many singers who, especially like K.S. Chitra from the South, she can write every notation and just deliver, just immediately. And that's fantastic. But for me, I think this is wonderful because I get the whole feeling in my hand, and in my heart and in my soul.
Do you remember what the first song was that you performed?
That I sang? Yes, of course I remember. The first song that I ever sang was a song called Never Knew How Much I Love You. Yeah, Fever. So that was my first song. But the first song that got recorded was in 1968, actually, was by a person called Bhaskar Menon, who was the big honcho of EMI HMB in those days. And it was done in Bombay. And it was Mr. Dubey, he was the artist and repertoire manager. And it was Jambalaya and Greenback Dollar on the flip side. Jambalaya and a crawfish pie and a fillet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my Mr. Mio. Pick it off, help a jar. And it's so funny. In those days, we didn't have any Google Mashi or anybody to teach us. I know everybody calls us Mashi.
Google Mashi. That's a new one.
To teach us, the lyrics. So now today you can just, all the kids can just type it and you get the whole lyric, everything that you want in front of you. In those days, I had to listen to the radio. And wait for that program to come.
I think you said that you owed a lot of your songs to Radio Ceylon.
Only. That's my biggest inspiration is Radio Ceylon, really. Because we had nothing else. There was no electronic media, there was no television, there was no nothing. So whatever we heard, through records, and if much later, when we had a record player in the house, we get the hand, go back and play it again. So whatever you heard phonetically, we just tried to make sense of that.
How tough was it to convince your family, daughter of a police officer, middle-class home, that you wanted to be a woman performing in a nightclub?
No, it just happened so beautifully. Because I had two sisters, you see.
Who were also into music.
Yes, Indira and Duma, they were the original singing Sami sisters.
Yes.
And they used to only sing Western music. So they used to go sing in Police Club and NSCI, and, a few choice clubs, and not for money, really. But they would just probably get a bouquet of flowers, and they were just fantastic. My two sisters.
And they were elder to you?
Yeah, much. So I was a little girl at that time. So when people say, was I inspired by them? Actually, no. I was never inspired by them or even by Lataji Mangeshkar because I was in awe of them. And in admiration all the time. And as far as my sisters go, I just thought it was so wonderful the way they dressed. And I remember one pink sari with sequins, which Uma wore, and Indira wore a blue chiffon with sequins, and they both had their hair plaited. And I just liked the whole idea of the fact that they were going to sing. And they sang songs like, "Sisters, sisters, there were never such devoted sisters." The typical Andrew Sisters kind of act that they did. "My baby don't phone no more. My baby don't love no more." Songs like that. So I was listening to Radio Ceylon, and the atmosphere at home was also conducive to the kind of music that I finally took up. And of course, in school, I went to convent school. So I already had English as the background, and it was as a foundation. So it was really marvelous. And my neighbors, Muslims with whom I grew up, Jamila and Shamim and all. So they used to wear shalwar kameez with dupatta, and I feel so excited. That filmy thing came into me because of them. And so I learned a lot of, even now as I talk about it, I get so excited because I met up with Dilip Kumar, Meena Kumari, Madhubala, then Vaijayanti Mala, Sunil Dutt, all the big names, all in Shamim and Jamila's house. So my influence took me more, that they influenced me a lot to the Hindi, which I finally took up Hindi and English, right? But the amazing thing was my family never, ever put a stop to my singing.
That's what I was going to ask you. Was there any resistance?
No, nothing.
That's there's this idea of good girls don't sing in nightclubs, right?
No, the biggest idea that was made by the society, not by anybody else.
Absolutely. But did you face any misogyny, sexism?
No.
Maybe not from your parents, but from others. Did people, we're sitting in Kolkata, your journey at Trincas is so well documented. It's where you met your husband as well, and we'll come to that. But did you have people misbehaving ever?
With me?
Yeah.
I don't know whether to laugh or to cry, Barkha. Nobody made a pass at me.
I mean, you met your husband.
Yeah, I met my
across
husband
the
there.
table and
across the table.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, in those days, I think I've spoken to you about it. We had to go to Lal Bazaar, which is the police headquarters, and sign a paper before you got a license to sing.
And what did you say in this paper?
And the paper it gave you a license to sing in a particular club or wherever. And there was one which I didn't even understand. Just imagine, I was already 22, but I didn't even understand what the word meant. It said, one of the clauses says, "I will not solicit." Can you imagine?
Amazing.
Really amazing. And the other one was that I will not sit at the tables where the customers were. So I had to sit in the confectionery. If you've been to Trincas recently, there's one portion which had the confectionery and the main place where the music goes. So I used to sit in the other side, and that's how Johnny, my husband, came up to me after the first night. And during the first night, after the show, he came up to me and he said, "Actually, you were super tonight." Oh, God. And he said, "Will you sing Matilda for me?"
Well, sing Matilda.
No,
Matilda.
Will you sing Matilda for me? And I did. Not that day. I waited for a good rehearsal with the musicians, and I said I would sing it. So you see, as far as inspirations or as far as family, interferences or society, I don't make fantastic or sensational copy.
No, but that's because you wear your success so lightly. If you think about it, here's this, resplendent young woman singing, performing in nightclubs. But not just that. At a time when it isn't easy, it's not easy even today to walk out of a marriage and follow your heart, right? When you met Johnny, your husband now of decades, how many years has it been?
50.
50, God bless. You're already married.
52, yeah.
You were already married.
Correct.
And you fell in love instantly.
Instantly.
Like it really was instant.
Completely.
And for him too.
Him too. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I think it's really crazy how when in all my motivational speeches and everything, I always tell all the girls, we are the ones who, the women are the ones who know the entire blueprint of a fight and how to get into a fight and how to make it bad and how to also make it good. And the first few years, spent in a lot of tears and said, "Oh, what's happened to us, John? We don't even talk, no communication. Why don't you talk to me?" And he would put the paper down and say, "Okay, talk." And, they're from Mars and they think everything is just fine. We want all this. So actually we keep reading meanings into different kinds of lines that, from whichever relationship. Oh, why didn't Barkha even bother to send me a message?
I did.
No, I'm
After
saying.
After your Padma,
no,
second
I'm
Padma.
saying,
I did.
Oh, my darling. But I mean, we read in so many meanings, into rubbish things. We don't need to. And then the fight. Like I have to tell you this because it was such an interesting thing. One of the big fights that we had right in the beginning, and girls, I want you to listen to this because it'll really help you. Yeah. We had a fight about something. I don't know what it was. And so I said, "John, you don't love me anymore." And I walked out of the house. I said, "I'm going." And I walked out of the room. I walked out of the house. And I walked on the steps. This was in Auckland Square. And every 2 seconds, I kept looking back to see if he was coming. He never came. I walked around Auckland Square 2-3 times and then quietly went back to the house. And he was, "Oh, hi." So, they think everything's just fine,
But how difficult was it?
It was.
To walk out of you'll be married 5 years. I was reading your biography.
Right. Yes.
And in that you chronicle how you're already married to Ramu. Yes. And he doesn't take very kindly to Jani because Jani basically tells him, according to your memoir, that he's fallen in love with Ramu's wife, which is you.
Yes. And he said he didn't know, "I don't know about your wife, but I'm in love with her."
Without ever having told you?
No, he didn't tell me. And so Ramu asked me whether it was true. And I said yes.
Based on an exchange of glances?
Yes, just like that. And we were very...
I mean, does it seem a bit crazy to you today?
Today...
If your daughter did something like this?
Yeah, no, today it seems quite crazy because I think, we were happy. We were happy looking at each other. We were happy riding the Strand Road. We were happy when it rained on his Herald car and just holding hands. And he would say, there's a place and time for everything. A very paka person, my husband, okay? And I'm saying we believed in romance, in the true form of romance, in everything. I don't think kids today are like that.
Yeah.
I think it's much more physical now, no?
Yeah. Was the divorce difficult though?
No. Actually, God has been very kind to me because Ramu was a wonderful human being as well. He accepted the whole thing perfectly. And he was sad, of course. Any breakup is sad. And he was a very good friend of Jani's as well.
Yeah. Did they remain friends?
No, which is why Jani told him, said that it's better to talk about friend, tell your friend that.
Yeah.
And then they were in the same circle here as well. People like Munmun Sen and then Ranubir and Doel, all very, very close friends of ours. And so there were two perfect gentlemen, actually. But Ramu was okay with the divorce.
And yet you don't see yourself as a rebel.
No. Yeah, that's really fantastic, isn't it? I've never talked about this, Barkha. It's the first time that I've ever talked about it, and it's with you. So
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's a lot of trust. When you get somebody, or when you trust somebody, you know that person will depict it exactly the way you said it and not contort it and make sensational news about it. Because my sister, Indira, is married into the same family.
As Ramu? As Jani?
No, Ramu. Ramu and Indira's husband were brothers.
So was that awkward?
It was very awkward. Very awkward. But I was too little and too much in love with Jani and too honest about the whole thing. So when you asked me about the divorce, I got my father was very particular about it. He said,
how did they react?
He said...
because let's also be clear, it's not that you had an unhappy marriage with Ramu when you walked out.
No.
And, to Jani. It was like a storybook, right? You're performing, you see this handsome man, he sees you, you fall in love, and you walk out of a 5-year-old marriage, which is maybe unfulfilling but not unhappy.
No, I not unhappy.
Yeah.
No, but we were very good friends. That's all.
Correct.
We didn't know. I mean, the marriage wasn't physical, and you know what I mean.
I understand.
Yeah. So
I understand.
it was totally different. And the wonderful thing about it was that all my Harry Belafonte days and getting the records and everything was because of Ramu, actually. And so it was. As I said, every breakup is sad. Yeah. At some level, it's sad. But if you are honest and if you treat it honestly, it happens really marvelously.
And there's been a lifetime of love that you've built after
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
right?
God. I mean, Johnny is just such a gentleman. And we have such wonderful children, yeah. Anjali and Sunny. And so what more could I ask for? Really, it's been wonderful. And, there are strange moments, actually, finally, afterwards when Anjali was born. Okay, this is something which I'd love to share with you, yeah. because it just talks to you about our society and how we are and how much a woman really wants her child to be what the child's father is, yeah. And for me it was so important that Anjali would be everything that her father is. Okay, so I wanted her to be Christian. Okay, now I'm complete Hindu. So how did we go about that? That was really wonderful because Johnny has never been a practicing Christian.
Right.
Okay. Mm. So we had to get married first. Mm. But before getting married, I had to get baptized. Oh. And so I got baptized, and I got married, and then Anjali was baptized when she was 6 months old. So that means she saw her parents getting married and,
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it all happened in Delhi at the Marthoma Church. Because my feeling of wanting to belong was so strong, and it is still strong. In everything that I do, you will notice that I really want to belong. I want to belong to you. I want to belong to the crew. For me, that love, I'm just craving for it somehow or the other. And when we got married, I wanted that the whole community, the Syrian Christian community in Kerala, should all want me.
And did they? I'm sure they did.
And they did. And so, of course, this was such a big thing too,
And today, how do you identify in terms of religious identity?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Myself?
Yeah.
No, even now, because of my education, whatever, if I'm saying Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsarital Varenyam, it's strange. People may think it's idiotic or blasphemous or whatever. It's only the face of the Christ that comes in front of me because of my education and years and years of saying the Our Father. But I'm honest about it. I don't have any... And I come from a Bombay that was so beautiful, Barkha. We never knew what is Hindu, what is Muslim, what is Christian. We never knew that.
And it was all a diverse mix of it.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful. Yeah. It was so beautiful. Like celebrated Christmas because we did, but we had only 2 pujas at home. My father would do the Ganesh Chaturthi and Amma would do the Varalakshmi Puja. That's the Lakshmi Puja. That's it. And the rest was either, and my brothers always made fun of me being vegetarian because they would tell my mother that, no, she goes to our neighbor's house with Jamila and all. She has lots of mutton and comes over here and says, give me rasam. So they were always like that. But no, it really was so fantastic. Yeah. And being that's the kind of Bombay or India that I'm really
you make everything seem so easy, and you've just been recognized with your 2nd Padma Award. Do you sometimes feel that recognition came to you later than it ought to have? I know you think you didn't have struggles, but even the tonality of your voice at the time that you started was considered unconventional for
totally.
Right? Sort of heavy bass
yeah,
voice.
Totally.
Did people see it? Aadmi jaisa awaaz hai?
Of course, everybody is there. Oh, don't you know? I mean, every time I ring up room service in any hotel, they say, yes, sir. Hello? Yes, sir. Then I say, please, no, I'm Usha Uthup. Before I used to say, now I don't clarify. I said, okay, just send me double shot espresso with hot water on the side and it's cool, no problem. No, but of course there were a lot of problems having the kind of voice that I did. But then I turned it into, something, as I said, make all your limitations your strengths. And if you follow your dream, I think it works for me.
Now, Dam Maro Dam.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's your song.
Yes. And so do I.
And so do you, and good for you. But let's hear that story.
Oh, that was such an amazing story. But before that, may I share a lovely story with you? I did a nice interview with Anupam Kher.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was so amazing. There was Javed Akhtar Saab also and myself. And Anupam Kher asked me, why is it, Usha, that you didn't get so many chances in the Hindi films for the heroines? And, and I was thinking in my mind what to say. And I shall always be grateful to Javed Akhtar Saab for that. He gave the answer. He said, because there is a mindset, a preconceived idea in our industry, in our film industry, as also the Indians. He said, they can never accept that a woman has a more powerful voice than the man. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
Really amazing.
And true.
And true. And so that gave me, I always am grateful to that, to Javed Saab for giving me that line, because I started dwelling on it for a long time and started figuring out that, yes, so what I was thinking of was right. That I'm never going to be able to sing for the heroine, or it doesn't matter. I'll always be the original item girl. I'm quite an item girl myself. So think of all the things I've done. You just enumerated so many of them. Yeah. So it's been quite a roller coaster. But then when you really think about it and you say, if I didn't have that different kind of voice, I say as a joke that when they didn't find a girl to fit my voice or a girl to dance to, like Kalpana Iyer, who did Varambaho and Hari Om Hari and so many others, if I didn't have that, then they would give me the title song, like Shan, where you don't have to do any lip sync with anybody else, okay? If they didn't find that, they gave my voice to Mithun Chakravarti.
So, did that actually happen?
Yes, I sang for Mithun Chakravarti.
Which one?
It was a great song from a film called Roti Ki Keemat. And it says, Aankhon se pee le, hotton se pee le, jeena ho jitna, masti mein jee le, tujh jaisa dekha, mujh jaisa dekha na hoga kahin. Dekho 36, 24. 36.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine?
And what did you feel when you were given, you had to do it?
I was very thrilled, yeah.
You didn't feel upset?
No. I'm very excited about these things. As I said, these were not struggles. They were challenges. And I'm one for a challenge, really. Look at the way... it's so impossible to think that, anybody could succeed or be there. To reach a certain area is easy, but to hang in there is the most difficult thing. And I found so many little things which helped me hang in there. And I think one of the reasons was that, first of all, that I'm Indian. Second, I'm wearing a sari. I'm not saying every girl who wears a sari would become a linguist. We come from an India which has 17 basic languages and God knows how many thousand dialects. And your love for wanting to sing foreign languages came from my education. I went to a convent school which had English medium, then Hindi, then Marathi was the third language, and fourth language was French. Yeah, and the fifth language was at home, Tamil, which we spoke. And so, we're already...
How many languages do you speak today?
I speak in quite a few, but not all the 17.
But I have seen you in performance, and you're able to slip into the language of the crowd.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you give us an example?
Yes, because that is so important कि हम जो भी कहना चाहते हैं, as long as you understand आर की चाय हमें. And I think I think I get by because of my expression.
Yes.
Like if somebody says, "Tumi Bangla jano," and I say, "Hai," then they say, "Oh, she's Bengali." How do you say "hai"? Or if somebody says, "Malayalam ariyao," and I say, "Oh, pinne," that means she's Malayali. So you get by. I make it a point to learn my expressions. The most important thing. If you don't know your expressions, then you can't get anywhere.
But you have a lot of spontaneity.
Of course, but you only can be spontaneous because that's the reason why you slip into so many different kinds of languages. Like yesterday I did a show, there must have been about 30,000 people over there. And I spoke completely in English because I got tongue-tied. And then I told them, I said, আমি খুব ভালো করে বাংলা বুঝি আর বাংলা বলতে পারি কিন্তু এখান থেকে এখানে আসতে there's a traffic jam. So everybody understood what I was saying anyway. So, it's become a style now.
Correct. But let's come back to the film industry. You were meant to be Zinat Aman's voice.
Yes.
And then what happened? Tell us that story.
Yeah, let me tell you about the Marudam, okay? I was singing, you can imagine that room in Delhi at the Oberoi Intercontinental. It was New Year's Eve. The lovely lights, and I was too excited because it was my first big New Year's Eve. And the magical year, of course, was 1969. And there was Dev Saab and the entire entourage of the Navketan unit, Vijayan. And then there was R.D. Burman, there was S.D. Burman also had come. And there was Shashi Kapoor, and there was so many different kinds of people sitting at different tables. And it was a house full. And after the show was over, Devanand Saab came and asked me whether I would sing in his project, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I wish I could imitate the way he would doff his head. And, it was so marvelous, such a perfect gentleman, Devanand. And already R.D. Burman had heard me in Bombay many times. I was singing in a little place called Gazebo on Linking Road. And he heard me over there and he liked my style. So when Dev Saab asked me whether I would sing for him, I said, of course I'll sing. Having no knowledge at all about what the film industry is all about. And then when I went back to Bombay, I did a rehearsal with R.D. Burman. Meenu Katrak was the music, the recording engineer. And my father also came with me for the rehearsal, by the way. And there was R.D. Burman and Devanand Saab and myself. And we rehearsed the whole thing, and which is Dam Marudam. And I was supposed to, actually, it was supposed to be a duet between me and Lataji Mangeshkar. Lataji would have sung for Mumtaz, who was the good girl in the movie, and Zinat Aman was the anglicized girl. Excuse me. So I was very excited about it. But of course, Lataji Mangeshkar didn't come that day for the rehearsal, but I rehearsed. And everything happened, and R.D. Burman said, wonderful, everything is just super. And he said he would call me. In those days, we had to call, wait for that black phone to ring. And if you, by mistake, you took that heavy phone and hit your nose or something, it was really bad news. Did you ever face that phone?
The big landline, of course.
Fantastic. Really marvelous. How we waited. How did we...
Wait by the phone was an intrinsic part of romance and anguish also.
Absolutely, really. And booking calls. Trunk
calls.
And lightning calls. I used to book lightning calls to speak to Jani later. Anyway, so R.D. Burman said he'd call me for the recording. And then I waited and waited and waited. It never happened. So I asked, I think about a week later, 2 weeks later, R.D. Burman called up and said, I didn't know how to call him Panchamda and all that. I still hadn't come to Bengal and become part of the Bengali culture. So I just used to say RDB or, just say, so what happened? So I asked him what happened to our song. So I said, please tell me what happened to our song. क्या हुआ बताइए मुझे. So he said, यार किसी और दिन कुछ और करते हैं. So I said, what does that mean? So he said, नहीं आपके लिए और कुछ रखा है, which meant that I wasn't getting the song. briefly I was sad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, were you bitter?
No. I was
It
very
went to
sad.
Asha then.
Yeah.
The song went to Asha Bhosle.
Yeah, and Asha Bhosle sang it beautifully or whatever. But it was, I was a bit sad that
Do you feel like there was politics at play? Why do you think you didn't get it?
I think because...
Were they threatened?
No, I don't think they were threatened or anything like that. But I think that finally it just happened because maybe R.D. Burman wanted it to happen that way. Or maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe not the word powerful doesn't play in this. But I think it was something that maybe she wanted to do. And so it was okay. But I was never, ever angry with her or never, ever bitter about the fact that I didn't. Because he gave me another song, like a lollipop.
Yeah.
And the lollipop worked for me. It said, I love you. Can't you see that I really do? Oh, please, 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 give me another chance. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. That was the song that became so popular. Yeah. So people all thought that Dam Maro Dam was anyway mine.
Everyone thought it was your
and
song.
They still do.
And still do. Even I thought it's your song.
Because I say Gaane Gaane, Dane Dane pe likha hai khane wale ka naam. And Gaane Gaane pe likha hai gaane wale ka naam.
Amazing.
So who cares who sang it before or anything? I mean, I really enjoy singing the song and everybody loves it.
And you perform it now also?
Of course, there's no show without DMD on the list.
We have to hear a couple of lines before my next question. Come on.
So let me tell you
Have you reconnected with Zeenat lately?
Oh, yes.
Have you?
So many times.
She's quite amazing also.
She's quite amazing, really. And why would anybody, even stand next to her, because you feel she's so beautiful, she carries herself so fantastically. And yes, she still, I don't think she knows everything that went around the thing. Yeah. But Mumtaz was the good girl in the film. And so I sang this song for the hippie power that it was. Yeah, the flower girl power. Yeah. And she's shown holding the chillam or whatever it is and smoking. Yeah. So I think somewhere in people's mind...
People's imagination, it's your song. So we've got to hear 2 lines before I move on to my next question.
Okay.
Another movie clip that I watched before I came to this conversation, and I was smiling from here to here because it's Rain. There's Amitabh Bachchan.
Oh God!
Oh my God! That video is just something else. It's like a slice of history, and like you're grooving and you're singing as Usha Iyer, which was your name at that time.
And it was only Usha Iyer just for 1 year, not even a year after I started singing. Can you imagine?
And in that movie, it's Bombay to Goa, right?
Announced, right?
Yeah. In Bombay to Goa, you are announced as Usha Iyer. This is the moment within the movie, and Amitabh Bachchan comes with a request. Yeah. Now you take over the rest of the story.
It was so fantastic. I mean, it seems, when you talk about, if you say, oh, Amitabh Bachchan is a friend of mine, it looks as if I'm dropping names.
Yeah.
But I'm dropping names, so it's okay. But he is a good friend of mine, yeah. And he was a good friend from Calcutta as well. Yeah. And at that time, he hadn't become the Amitabh Bachchan. And we were very excited to be on the same, project.
Yeah.
And it was done at a place called Caesar's Palace in Bombay on Linking Road. I don't think it exists anymore.
yeah.
And there was Amitabh Bachchan and there was myself. And of course, R.D. Burman we had already recorded the song. Now, these were the songs that R.D. Burman loved, okay?
Yeah.
Listen to the pouring rain, listen to it pour. And with every drop of rain, you know I love you more. Oh, it was such a fantastic thing. And then there was another song, also jazz standard, which said, it's the wrong time and the wrong place. Though your face is charming, it's the wrong face. And then he comes to say, I married a female wrestler as massive as can be. And she had bulging muscles, which what fascinated me. And then there was Never Know How Much. Everything was over there. Because these were the songs that Panchamda wanted.
Okay.
And so we recorded it. And then we got into the shooting. And then I see this tall man. I mean, we knew each other already from Calcutta because he used to come for my shows in Calcutta.
Nice.
Can you imagine the guest list
Amazing.
in Trincas? We had Kabir Bedi, we had Amitabh Bachchan, we had Sharmila Tagore, Tiger Pataudi, Farooq Engineer, Jyoti Babu.
Jyoti Babu?
Yes, Somnath
Did he shake a leg ever?
Of course. He was a lovely man. Great. I mean, nothing to do with politics, but everybody needs a little bit of entertainment.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So what's wrong in that?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
he was there. Then Shuttujit Rai, who has listened to me over there many times. Uttam Kumar, Shuchitra, Sen, of course. And Shupriyadi. All these people used to come to listen to me. Can you imagine coming to listen to me in Trincas? Because they said, ye Madrasi ko sunna hi hai. You know, that kind of feeling. So, anyway, back to where it was.
Yeah, Amitabh Bachchan.
Amitabh Bachchan. And so I already knew Amitabh Bachchan. Also the tea crowd. My husband was in tea.
Yeah.
And he was working in Blackers at that time, I think. And so they already were friends. So it's quite exciting when I see this man, tall man, coming up and he's wearing a marvelous jacket. So I said, this jacket looks so marvelous on you. Really lovely jacket. You know what he told me? He said, so sad, yaar, I have to give it back to the unit. Those were the days.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. And then there was another little anecdote, which was so moving when I talk about it now, because he must have forgotten about it. But if he hears your podcast, I'm sure he will. Yeah. Somewhere down the line, he always used to say, Johnny hai, because my husband's name is Johnny. And Jayegi, then he would say, and he would make fun of me, being with that song and distract me.
Yeah.
So there was a point of time in the shooting where he catches my hand. And just as a joke, I said, Chodo mera haath, or something like that, I said. He said, you watch. One day, all the girls in the world will want to hold my hand.
Yeah.
So beautiful, yeah?
Amazing.
So amazing. Yeah.
Do you feel today that after, in a way, I said, you had your first Padma very early on and now another one. Do you feel that there's more space for you today in conventional film industry? Has something changed or is it the same? Lots has changed. Lots has changed. But of course there is a place for me to sing. But, people have asked me whether this came late or anything. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. No, I'm very happy to get it whenever, because then I feel that it's been worth it. Because I have never given messages to people that you listen to what I'm saying, but through my song, there have always been underlying messages of peace, brotherhood of man, not having borders. Everything has come through my song. And I've worked so hard for it, Wakhra. Wearing a sari, never compromising on the way I looked, and believing in the fact that India truly should be on the world. See, when I talk about this seriously, India is represented abroad, before I'm talking, not now. Things are changing slowly. It was either Ravi Shankar, M.S. Subbulakshmi in the classical field that was represented. Or on the other side in dances and things, Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Bhangra. Yeah. And on the other extreme, Bollywood. Yeah. But middle of the road people like you and I who enjoy just world music. Yeah, all of it. Just everything, yeah?
And there was never any place for that. So now that it's being recognized, I feel so happy and so proud. I'm waiting for the day, actually, when there would be a song like We Are the World.
Yeah.
And the
You should
sari
take
would
the
be
lead.
there. And the sari would be there.
Sari is very important.
That is important.
Now we've spoken about the sari, but not the bindi. How can we not talk about
Allah,
the bindi?
yeah.
Please tell us about the bindis.
The bindi. I have plenty of bindis, okay? And before we used to have, being South Indian family, just one little bottle and you picked it.
The powder and the...
No, it was a liquid.
That's a liquid.
And there was a little glass thing inside where you just took it out and like a stick and you put it on. Then slowly times changed and I started making bigger, making different shapes. And then the advent of the shringar that came.
Yes.
And then we had different colors. So I made colored bindis. And then time went on and then came the stickers. And then I started wearing the stickers. And then time went still on and everybody noticed that my bindis were big and they were nice and they made fun of it. And they said it looked like a rupee coin. And then somebody said that they could take it off and use it as a plate. Oh, no, I think it was a Kapil Sharma show. I'm not sure. It was too funny. So they always made fun of it. Yeah. But there was one person when I went to Bombay or one of my trips, I went to Benzer.
Yeah.
Okay. And the owner of Benzer came up to me and said, सारे कॉलेज के लड़कियां आपकी बिंदी चाहते हैं. So I said, मैं तो नहीं बनाती कुछ, मैं तो I just take it and draw it.
Yeah.
So he said, अच्छा 2-3 डिजाइन बना दीजिए. So I made the design of Kaur, which is for Kolkata.
Yeah. Which
and
is what
he
you're
loved
wearing
it.
Even today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which he loved very much. And then I started buying my own designs. I had to pay for my own designs, the bindis. So now I have a wonderful bindi maker.
Nice.
In in Bandra East. She's a lovely girl called Varsha. Yeah. And she's married to a person called Imran. Okay. So they make beautiful bindis. And all my core, then I've got Trishul. Then, of course, I've got the for Delhi and Mer for Mumbai. But mostly I wear this. But quickly I change in the airports and all. Aaj ye kyun lagaye when I go to Bombay or if I go to Madras. Then for Madras, our scripts are so beautiful, really. And most of the foreigners say that they love the wiggly ones, which is the Tamil or the Malayalam.
Yeah,
the Tamil one, which I've got, is E for Isai, which means music. So when I go to Madras and at the airport, they say, which means, why didn't you do the Tamil one? Okay. Yeah. So I have to search in my bag quickly and then
change it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
now, what have you wished for your daughter and son? And I've had the privilege of having you, Anjali, and your granddaughter perform at Be the Women, which is my absolute favorite performance. But they've not taken, none of your kids or no one else in your family has professionally taken music. Does that upset you?
No, I'm sad, actually. I wish they had taken advantage of the fact that, but Anjali is such a fantastic singer. She's such a bindas, and, her whole demeanor and attitude is so beautiful to music. And the younger one, my granddaughter, she's the boss. I mean, if you don't hit it right, the note, she's the one to say this is wrong, and choose the songs. Yeah. In fact, Flowers was...
I was just going to ask you, before we come to Flowers, how do you remain so contemporary? Because the most recent video of yours that has gone totally viral is Flowers. By Miley Cyrus, and you performed it at Trincas, but you were going to tell us a story about your granddaughter.
So now my granddaughter is the first one who told me about Skyfall.
Adele.
And so and that's how Skyfall in a Sari happened when I spoke, when I did it at Ink Talks and in TED Talks. So, people were shocked because it's a really totally different kind of people who come for these kind of talks. And they never thought that a girl in a sari would be able to sing that. Yeah. But I've been doing it for years now, haven't I? Yes. I've been doing Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Barbara Streisand. But this is the Western world, which I keep saying, I wish that the representation would have been different. Yes. And I wish people knew that there were people like you and I who love this kind of music, or Country Roads, or Beatles, or this or that or the other. Yeah. Now, from this one, from Adele, which Aisha gave me. Yeah. It was Flowers, which was given to me by Anjali.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're listening to music all the time. And you'd be so surprised to know that the kids today, when I say, we don't need no fluoridation. So my grandson looks at me and said, you know Pink Floyd? I said, do you know how old they are? I was doing Pink Floyd in 1969, or I was doing Clapton at that time. And it's just that in those days, or even now, abroad, when you do somebody else's song, it's like always a tribute because you've loved their song. And there's never this thing about why you're doing a remix or why you're doing a cover. Nobody ever called it cover. They just, I was doing Shirley Bass, So does that mean if you don't have an original song, you're not going to sing? Of course I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing whatever song there is in the universe. And if the kids love it today and if they say it's so cool, then I just sing it. And then when I heard the words,
amazing
flowers,
words.
Oh God, it's so beautiful. And it's positive as well. You know, don't depend on somebody else to do something all the time. Don't read meanings, which brings me back to the old thing. We know everything. We know what we have to do. So if you're so upset that somebody didn't give you flowers, buy it yourself.
That's right.
Go and get your own flowers.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
I think that's the perfect note to end on, though we could talk for hours. But I have to ask you to do a rendition of Flowers.
Oh, I'd love to. But tell me something. I want to ask you.
Okay.
Yeah. When you say, how are you so relevant? Tell me, how are you so relevant? Because you are all the time changing.
Because you have to reinvent.
Yes, you have to
and
reinvent,
adapt to change.
Adapt to
Otherwise,
change.
change will devour you.
Yes. And as I always say, make time your best friend.
That's right.
Yeah. Walk along with time and don't fight with it. Everybody's trying to fight time and color their hair and, it's okay. I'm not saying anything wrong about that. Color your hair, do whatever you want to do. But remember that time doesn't wait for you. You better be there on the ball and
live
work hard.
deeply every moment.
And work. I'm a absolute
workaholic.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah, you too.
Same.
I never.
I love my work.
Yeah,
I love working.
Me too.
If you took my work away from me, I would be like, what is my life?
Correct. And when people say, don't you ever want a break? I said, never ask for a break.
Yeah.
Because the minute you ask for it, you feel really sad. So don't ask for a break. I just want to be able to sing and sing and sing and sing and be on the stage. Love you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Okay, now we have to hear the...
Which one do you want to hear?
Flowers.
We were good, we were gold, kind of dream that can't be sold. We were right till we weren't, built a home and watched it burn. I didn't want to leave, I didn't want to lie, started to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yes, I can love me better than you can. Can love me better, I can love me better. Can love me better, I can love me better. Paint my nails cherry red, match the roses that you left. No remorse, no regrets, I forgive every word you said. Ooh, I didn't want to leave you, I didn't want to fight, started to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. Can love me better, I can love me better. Can love me better, I can love me better. Can love me better, to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yes, I can love me better than. Yes, I can love me better than you can.
Whoa!
Fabulous.
Really marvelous.